Well, good day to everyone, and thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend with us here at Manage Engine. I think today's topic is something that the majority of organizations around the world really struggle with, which is really trying to deal with passwords and our users. And that's what we're going to try to tackle today. We're going to look at some of the most common issues related to passwords for most organizations, and then try to fill in those gaps with some different solutions for you. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Derek Melber. I am the Chief Technology Evangelist for the Active Directory Solutions team here at Manage Engine. And I will be not only your moderator, I'll be your speaker for today. I do want to mention a couple of housekeeping things. This is being recorded. So if for some reason you have to drop off, for some reason someone wasn't able to attend, please keep an eye out for your email. There should be a link to the recording in your email in the next 24 hours or so. Also, if you do have any questions as we go through the material, I actually have some colleagues working with me kind of in the background, but diligently looking for your questions or comments as we move through. So please use your GoToWebinar panel, and there should be a question area there. And as we go through, my colleague will be answering those questions. If for some reason we don't get to all of the questions before the end of the webinar, we will be sending out an email with the question and answers to everyone, again, within the next 24 hours. So without further ado, let's kind of jump into a little bit of kind of an intro here. As I said, my name is Derek Melber. And I wanted to point you to some resources that we have available to you. We don't have a ton of time together today, so what I want to do is make sure that you know where you can come get additional resources from us here, the Active Directory Solutions team at Manage Engine. I think we have some very compelling resources available for you. All three of them are actually available from our website. Very easy to get to. So if you just go to our main landing page, the first thing I want to point you to is under support, our blogs. Here we have a blog that we post something at least once a week. Anymore, it's actually been more than once a week. And if you come and do a search on, let's say, Active Directory, you can actually just get a listing of all the blogs related to Active Directory. You could do a search on security. You could do a search on GDPR. If for some reason you're getting GDPR ready. I know here at Manage Engine, we're getting GDPR ready. We have some things here related to groups. So there's a lot of different things here that could really be beneficial to you. If you notice, all the blogs are less than 5 minutes. That's our goal, to really get you into a very easy trend in getting information. The second resource I want to send you to, again, if you go to our main landing page, if you hover over products and go to security hardening, it's kind of tucked down here in the corner. This page was built just over 2 years ago, and really this page was built as a way for us as Active Directory experts to help you, also Active Directory experts, maybe with a little less time on your hands, on how to secure your environments. So what we did is we built this site, and if you go to the bottom of the site, you'll see all these different areas related to security. And what we've done, if you click on any one of them, you'll see that there are multiple blogs and videos describing certain aspects of that area. Now, what we're doing is we're revamping this particular site to actually have it more guided towards how to use the material. And in the next couple of months, you'll be able to come out here and you will see a 5-step guide on how to use the material that's here. You certainly can use the material as it is. It's again less than 5 minutes per blog, but these are not just kind of informational blogs. These are very detailed how-to blogs on how to secure your environment, whether it be from the reporting aspect, the configuration aspect, or even the monitoring of changes in alerting aspect. So there's some excellent information out here that's available to you. The final resource that I want to point you to is our newly released book on securing privileged access in Active Directory. You can come out to any one of these links off of our webpage, click on it, and you can download your free copy. It is a very short yet powerful read regarding privileged access. It's literally 15 years of me working in a Windows environment, both as an Active Directory and a group policy MVP, putting this information together for you. So this is an excellent resource for you and someone that you can share with. And again, please share this with as many people as possible. This is just an easy read, something you can get through in probably less than 30 minutes, and really action-packed with information. So those are some different resources you have available to you once we're done with the webinar. I do want to mention one more thing, which is our world tour. We are hitting probably 20 to 25 countries again this year. We've already been to 3 different countries. I know this week we are in India doing a seminar there as well. I know that I will be heading out this weekend for South Africa, heading to Johannesburg and Cape Town, and then I'm going to jump up to Italy, to a couple of cities there, and then finish up in Madrid before I then move on to Israel. So we are really dedicated to this world tour, and what the world tour is all about is us bringing to you solutions for common things that every organization, every Active Directory administrator struggles with on a day in and day out basis. These are usually half-day events. They are targeted towards solutions. A great way for you to come and talk to us, ask questions, and also get solutions. So when you leave the webinar or the seminar, you will have solutions that you can immediately get back. When you get back in your chair at work, you're going to be able to do something. So that's what these are all about. This is our 5th year of doing these, and we are very excited about it. And we continually add new and fresh information. So if you've been to one of these before, we actually come to the United States anywhere from 4 to 10 cities per year. Please keep an eye out for these. They are great events for you to take advantage of. So that's all I have to say. Oh, I do want to mention one more resource, my email address. Please email with your questions, whether it be Active Directory, group policy, security, anything around what you're working on. I love to receive emails. I love to receive questions. I am an MVP in Active Directory. I've been an MVP now for 17 years. And it's just a great opportunity for you to get answers to deep and complicated questions. If I don't know the answer, I know a lot of people that can help me get that answer for you. So please utilize me as a resource, as well as the entire ADSolutions team. So we're going to get into the material here. And what I want to do to start off with is I want to talk a little bit about normal password issues, things that we all know about, but I want to bring them to the surface. A lot of us have kind of pushed these things down and kind of ignored them for a while, but I want to dig them up and bring them back up to the surface to take a really good look at these. And the issues that we have around passwords, I'm going to start with the fact that we as organizations need long and complex passwords. But what that means is that our users are having trouble remembering their passwords. They're having trouble typing their passwords. So what happens is, what we do as administrators and organizations with policy is we say that a user can only input a password incorrectly 3 to 5 times, and after that they're locked out. So what we're getting is poor production out of our users, because they know that if they type it in 4 times incorrectly, they're going to be locked out. So they type it in 3 times, and then they wait, and then they type it in again and again and again, and then they wait. So we have some poor productivity going on here. So what happens is, either the user, oh, I remember my password, and you have to wait for the account to be unlocked, or they have no idea what the password is, and they call the help desk to reset the password. And when we start pushing the limits of our passwords, we add in complexity, and many users have a hard time typing anyway. Maybe they can use QWERTY pretty easily on their phone, but when they have a keyboard, it seems like they just can't type correctly. And when it comes with complexity and adding in special characters, it becomes even more of an issue. So that's kind of the first issue that most organizations have, is we get users locking out and having to reset passwords, and that comes back to the IT staff. Also, we have an ever traveling workforce. Maybe they don't travel as much as I do, but certainly you have users that are on laptops and traveling the US, or traveling the world, or traveling your country, and they're maybe not in the office, but a couple of times a month. So what happens is, when their password is going to expire, they miss the notification. The notification using Microsoft is only available when you're on the network. So that notification never appears to them, and their password expires. Boom, they have an issue. Okay. Now, also, we I would say over the last 3 years, especially, we've seen a huge increase in cloud applications. And the more cloud applications we have, usually the more passwords we have. And users already were burdened with passwords. Now they're even more burdened with passwords. And users don't understand the fact that their cloud application has a different password than their Active Directory account. So when they reset their password in Active Directory, they just think it's updated everywhere, and it doesn't work. And they really get confused when they have multiple logons. They're like, I already logged on. Why am I logging on again? So these just exacerbate the problems that we started with in the first bullet point. And now we have these issues in a multitude of areas, not only in Active Directory, but also in our cloud applications. So if we look to Microsoft to solve these, we're finding that they fall a little short, right? Users don't know what the password policy rule is. So when we add in complexity, not only is it hard for the user to remember their password, even if they get the notification to reset their password, they don't know what the password policy is. When we start looking at password reset and account unlock, Microsoft provides no solution for an on-prem solution for this. So when we look at Active Directory on-premise, Microsoft doesn't give the end user a self-service portal for resetting their own password or unlocking their account. Certainly they do in Azure, but not everybody has Azure. And not all of your users go through the portal of Azure. So we have a miscommunication there. Microsoft does have some syncing with cloud applications with the password. Okay, so now we can actually get a single password across applications, but that's limited, and it has to be through Azure. It's not through Active Directory. So again, we have this reliance, a mandatory reliance on Azure, which not everybody has. And then users typically are forced to log into all of their applications. And again, this goes to single sign-on. And when it comes to Microsoft, yes, they do have some advanced, highly technical, highly expensive solutions for single sign-on, but it's not something that comes out of the box. And certainly you're going to have to train your users on this. So we here at ManageEngine took a look at this problem. And when I say this problem, I mean password issues, because it's not just a single problem, it's a multitude of problems that all users, all organizations struggle with. And so what we wanted to do was we wanted to create a solution that was easy for administration and easier for your users. Because if we put in a solution, if you put in a solution that is complicated, your users aren't going to use it because they don't know how to use it. And now what's going to happen is instead of reducing help desk calls, you're going to increase help desk calls. So let me walk you through a simple, elegant, yet powerful solution for all of these different issues. And we're going to start off with something called ADSelfService Plus. Now, ADSelfService Plus starts with something called a policy. Now, the policy, as I'm going to jump in here to a live environment. So here we have ADSelfService Plus. Here we have something called policies. And you'll see that I have some different policies here. Now, a policy is defined as one or more functions that you are going to give your user the ability to take advantage of on their own, self-service. That's obviously ADSelfService Plus, okay? So you can give a user one or more of these capabilities. Now, the first two that I want to focus on are reset password and an unlock account. So that when your user hits up against a roadblock, they just can't remember their password, instead of calling the help desk, why not just be able to reset their own password? Now, if you're thinking, I'm concerned about security, let me run through a couple of things for you here. First and foremost, do you think that your users today know how to use self-service to reset their passwords? Now, before you answer no, think about how your users use social media. Do you think that they have to contact a Netflix to reset their password? Do you think they have to contact someone at Facebook to reset their Facebook page? Of course not. They're using a self-service portal, so they're already trained. So all this allows you to do is specify which options you want to give to your users. Now, With our policies, it is not one size fits all. You can set up a multitude of policies. Notice I have 3, and each policy can be targeted towards a different group of users based on OU or group. So now we're giving you the flexibility to target different users based on who they are, based on what you want to give them from a self-service portal. So that's the first thing you need to consider, okay? So the policy defines the interaction that you're going to give your users for a self-service interface, okay? And then you're going to go in and you're going to define the multitude of settings. Obviously, the features is first, but also you want to define security. So if we jump back in to a policy, you have something called multi-factor authentication. And we give you everything from Q&A through Google Authenticator, all the way through a mobile authenticator, and everything in between. So what we're giving you the opportunity is you get to define how your users are going to verify who they are before they can reset their password, before you're giving them the ability to unlock their account. So the security is absolutely built into the tool, again, in a way that your users are fully functional today with their social media. So we tried to follow in line with the same concepts, giving you the administrator control, but giving the user a very friendly environment in which they can work from, okay? So these are all the different components related to the idea of self-service portal for your users, okay? Now, we also have multi-factor authentication just into the portal itself, because one of the things you need to consider, and let me go back to the environment here, is resetting password and account unlock. The user isn't in the environment, okay? So they don't know what their password is, so they need to perform an action. But self-update is something that actually is going to be once they've logged on. So what we wanted to do is create a multi-factor authentication, not only for resetting password and unlocking their account, but also for just getting into the portal for self-update and changing their password. And these are the options that we have today. So we're giving you multi-factor authentication at multiple levels within the tool, allowing you to ensure security and allowing your users to easily and comfortably, with methods they already know, access the environment. Now, before we get into what it looks like for the user actually has to enroll into the system. Obviously, ADSelfService Plus has to know who they are. Now, before you think, this is a roadblock, again, your users know how to do this. When your users enroll in whatever social media, online, banking, online, anything, they have to enroll in the system. And whether it's Q&A, whether it's setting up whether they're going to use Google Authenticator, they have to set that up so that the system knows who they are and knows how to communicate with them. So what we do is the same thing. We have to get that user to enroll. Now, the way that we do this is a variety of options from your standpoint, because one of the things that you need to have on your side is a multitude of options for enrollment. Now, we go anywhere from sending out a notification, hey, you need to enroll, but it's not forced. So you're going to get some users to enroll and others are just going to delete it because it's from you, right? You also have an option to force the enrollment. You also have options for you to input the data for them to kind of seed the information into ADSelfService Plus. Regardless, you need to get the information regarding your users into ADSelfService Plus so they can then consume the system. So at this point, what we've done is we've set up ADSelfService Plus policies and security. Then we've enrolled the users. Now that the users are enrolled, all the user needs to do is utilize the system. Now, before the user utilizes the system, usually I get the question, well, Derek, how do I know which users are enrolled? Not a problem. One of the huge benefits of using Manage Engine solutions is our reporting technology. You'll notice here that I have 2 users that have already submitted their information into the system. So these are the enrolled users. You can actually make sure that your users are getting the information that they need for enrollment. So you have enrollment reports and everything else, okay? So we're giving you the full circle solution around this. Once the user has enrolled, they can use the system. Now, what I highly recommend is that you give the user the Gina modification, or if they're using a Mac, the login screen modification. Let me show you what that looks like. So if I go back over here to my client, which is a Windows 7 desktop, this user is enrolled, okay? So when the user doesn't remember their password, I have updated their computer with this reset password unlock account. So instead of them having to make a phone call to the help desk, they simply click on reset password, go to the reset password or unlock account, they're both right here, and then they put in their username. Now, notice they're not having to put in their password because they don't know their password. At this point, this is when the security options will show up. In our simple demo here, I have Q&A, but if I had a multitude of things, say Q&A and Google Authenticator, they would have to do both. So here, see if I can remember these. And then obviously this CAPTCHA is an option too. So that is a QGDSE7, I think, okay? Bingo. Now they can put in their new password. So this is how simple it can be. And I'll be honest, when you look at ADSelfService Plus historically, most organizations pick ADSelfService Plus for this single set of features: self-service password reset and self-service account unlock. Both of these features are highly beneficial for any organization, really, to ease the calls from the help desk, allowing the help desk to do more things and be more powerful. Also, the users always wonder, why do I have to call the help desk? I don't have to do it for anything else, only for my accounts in Active Directory. Okay? So all of these things are also very, very user-friendly and very, very customizable. So you can go in and you can define exactly what the communication is going to look like. You can define a link to some type of help page or something like that. All of this is customizable. So when they go in, it can be bannered with your logo. It can be bannered with everything. All the information can be there. This is the power of a tool that gives you the flexibility and the ease, allowing your users to perform these actions, okay? Now, that CAPTCHA option is also 100% optional. It's up for you. You know, I kind of like the CAPTCHA option. That way people can't brute force into this tool like they can with the Microsoft solution. So the CAPTCHA just gives you that one extra step. It's really not that complicated for the user to type it in. Many, many online services also use CAPTCHA. So we give that to you as an option. You can either add it or you can remove it, okay? All right, so we've looked at the first 2 solutions to the problems that most organizations have: users forgetting their passwords and locking out their accounts and needing a self-service portal. But what about the password sync issue? When we start looking at applications in the cloud, they're becoming more and more, right? Office 365, you might have Salesforce, you might have who knows what other type of applications. I mean, there's so many, right? Zoho. So when it comes to this password sync issue, users have a hard time knowing that when they reset their password inside of Windows, here, this doesn't sync automatically with their cloud applications. They see this as an entry onto the network, and everything beyond this point is the same. And we know as administrators that's not the case. So what we've done is we've given you the opportunity to actually sync your passwords, right, with the common applications. So anywhere from IBM AS400 all the way to Active Directory Azure. So we're giving you the options to do this, okay? So when you want to have a user reset their password in the normal way they've been doing it for the last 20 years, you on the other side simply come in and you configure the application in the cloud that will automatically sync once they reset their password. This is a phenomenal solution for you because it allows your users to have a seamless password experience. It's 100% seamless. Okay, we're syncing with other platforms. We're able to go in and basically in one password change for your user, automatically synchronize with other apps. This is really beneficial. Over the last year and a half, with the influx of cloud applications, we've seen that this particular function is really elevated almost to the level of the self-service password reset. So this is a huge advantage for you to give for your users so that they just have a seamless integration. They don't care about their password and everything goes along for the ride. So these are some things that you can provide. Now, the next level is single sign-on, because even if you synchronize the password, the user goes to their cloud application and they're hit with credentials and they have to log on again. And they're like, why do I have to log on again? I've reset my password. It's the same. Why can't it just use what it knows? So what we've done is we've actually added a pretty robust list of options for you to come in and do single sign-on. So you'll notice the list is pretty beefy, okay? So this is an opportunity for you to have single sign-on for your users so they come into the ADSelfService Plus portal and not only with a single click access their applications, but the user will only see the applications that they are provisioned for. So when a user comes into the ADSelfService Plus portal with single sign-on configured, they will only see the listing of applications that are targeted for them. Again, giving you, the administrator, the power to control what they access, but giving the end user the ease of just getting their job done. So at this point, what I've given you is a solution for self-service password reset, self-service account lockout. When the user actually changes their password in Active Directory, like they've been doing for the last years, it automatically pushes that password to their cloud apps. And with single sign-on, it's a single click, no additional credentials to get to the applications that are provisioned for them, all through ADSelfService Plus. One single point of solution, okay? Now, we just added multi-factor authentication for single sign-on. The reason for this is, let's just be honest, we have attackers that are getting into our systems, and if an attacker gets a hold of a user's credentials, once they're in Active Directory, they get everywhere. So what we have provided is for you to have a multi-factor environment for your cloud apps too. So they're not having to put in their password, but they're going to have another level of authentication to get to their cloud apps. 100% optional for you. This is an option for you. You do not have to implement this, but it does give you the option to perform this, okay? So you can now see that we are dedicated to multi-factor authentication. I've shown you 3 different examples in one solution where multi-factor authentication is a possibility. Self-service portal, getting into ADSelfService Plus itself, and now actually getting access to their cloud applications with multi-factor authentication. Now, this one isn't nearly as, I guess, luxurious as the other solutions, but I think this is a vital part of what you need to implement. Partly because I travel, okay? I travel a lot, right? I've already been to, I think, 4 different countries this year alone, maybe 5. and it's only the middle of February, and I leave for, as I said, South Africa on Saturday. So when it comes to traveling, password expiration notifications are critical for me, because when I am in a city somewhere around the world, and let's say that the internet isn't the most viable, maybe I'm only on my phone, I'm trying to get my email and my password expires, that's a huge problem for me. So what we've done is we provided an ADSelfService Plus the ability for you to notify your users via SMS and or email. Boy, what a benefit this is. I have this implemented for my account using ADSelfService Plus, obviously for Manage Engine, and it's wonderful for me to get an email saying, hey, Derek, your account's going to expire in a week. You might want to change it, giving me the full flexibility to get on my laptop, get into an environment that allows me to connect, reset my password, change my passwords everywhere, and now I'm set. This is exactly what you need to do for your users, especially those that are the road warriors, okay? 100% customizable. You can have links, you can notify managers, you have reports, all the benefits are there. All the benefits that you know you want are possible. We also have given you the opportunity to really go in and specify how often you're going to notify these users of these issues, okay? So this idea of password expiration notification to me is vital. Yes, I know that the self-service solution is there as well as the synchronization and whatnot, but this is kind of the core. And because it's the core, we actually give this away for free, unlimited. You download and install ADSelfService Plus. You can utilize the password expiration notification for an unlimited number of users in your organization, 100% free. It's not time bombed, it's not users, it's 100%, because we feel this is so vital. So here's my challenge to you, and I give this challenge for everyone that comes up to me talking about Manage Engine products. I want you to start a timer. I want you to go download ADSelfService Plus, install it, configure it for, I don't know, a test group of users, and then implement part of the solution. I guarantee you can do that in less than 30 minutes. It's so simple to implement. It is such a simple install and configure, but as you can see, the end result is extremely powerful. The end result gives you the leverage to control who has what capabilities with all the security that you want built in. So in this short time together, we've gone through a lot of information, right? We've gone through the common password issues that most organizations have. And what we did is we said, okay, Microsoft really doesn't have a solution out of the box for this. You know, Microsoft does have solutions such as FIM and PIM and all of these other things that they have out there, but really it doesn't give you the solutions that we're talking about. Yes, Microsoft has solutions through Azure and single sign-on, but that's Azure. And I just pointed out earlier, Microsoft does have those. I'm not going to negate that Microsoft has those or not. But when you start using the Azure solution for single sign-on and password synchronization, they have to use Azure. They have to use Azure. So what we don't want to do is re-architect our users' use of the environment. We want them to utilize the environment like they've been doing for the last 20 years, just through their normal GINA, and then everything pushes out for there. When you go the Microsoft solution, they're forcing you initially to use Azure as the foundation for that. So I'm not saying that Azure is better or worse than ADSelfService Plus. What I am telling you, absolutely, is ADSelfService Plus is easier, gives you more functionality, more control, more customization, and more capabilities than anything that Microsoft provides. Absolutely anything. Let me prove it even in one more example. When you come into ADSelfService Plus, you have this thing called a password policy enforcer. Now, I want to compare this to what Microsoft provides us inside of group policy. Now, if I come in here to my group policy settings, you'll notice that I have these account policy settings, right? History, age, and whatnot. These are the only settings that you have for your passwords. We destroy those. We blow those out of the water by giving you even more capabilities. You can come in here and, for example, force special characters. You can actually add in dictionaries to make sure your users aren't using dictionary words. All of this can be forced even for administrators resetting passwords, even when they use the ADUC to reset passwords. Microsoft can't touch this. This is all part of ADSelfService Plus. Comes along for the ride. So when we start comparing our solution to anything else out there, it's simpler, easier for you as an administrator, and extremely powerful for your end user to use a single pane to get access to everything they need to access, and they don't even know it. And that's what we want, right? We want to ease your user's use of the environment while still keeping security in place. So again, my challenge to you is still out there. Download, install ADSelfService Plus. If nothing else, just use the notification part. It's free, extremely powerful. So with that, I've come to the conclusion of this webinar. We've had quite a few webinars already this year, and we will continue to have more and more webinars. If you do have any questions about this webinar, I saw a couple of questions come through, and I want to thank my colleagues for answering those. Also, send me an email. Send the AD Solutions team an email. If you know someone personally on the AD Solutions team, send them an email. We kind of joke about how much we enjoy receiving emails with questions, because we're going to challenge each other trying to get the answers to these complicated questions. So please send us your questions. We'd love to hear them. My email is derek@manageengine.com. I try to get to emails within a day. I gave you some other resources on our website. Please take advantage of those. We'll be inviting you to events, whether it be a user conference or a seminar in the United States coming up soon. Keep your eye out for those. We blog weekly. We're really trying to keep in tune with you with certain things that hopefully give you answers to things you struggle with on a day in and day out basis. So that concludes our webinar. I want to thank you for your time. I know your time is valuable. Hopefully the next time we have a webinar, you can come and see us again. I really would love to meet you live. If you're at an event that I'm at, please come up, shake my hand. I'd love to meet you. And for Derek Melber and the rest of the AD Solutions team, this concludes our webinar. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time, thank you.